Deep in the hush of the Grand Hampton restaurant, where sparkling crystal chandeliers threw shards of golden light across white linen tables and soft ambient music lent an air of refined exclusivity, Deacon Sharp hovered at the edge of anxious. Tonight was supposed to be a showcase, a pinnacle of prestige, an invitation-only gala for the city's elite, journalists, designers, Forrester influencers, Spencer insiders, and aspirants who craved the sheen of the glossy world where fashion and fame collided. The reputation of this restaurant, its bookings and publicity, hung on the perfection of this night. Yet behind the polite smiles and champagne flutes lay a powder keg, unseen but ticking. Will Spencer, young, passionate, lit with that reckless fire of youth, belonged not only to a wealthy dynasty but had a fraught connection to Luna, an emotionally charged, tempest-prone soul with a grip on his heart that threatened to override his judgment. Gripped by jealous fury, blurred by some emotional meltdown, Will's eyes had flicked to Luna across the room, and suddenly every polite murmur, every raised eyebrow, every sparkle of crystal had vanished into the background of his own inner storm. At that moment, Will lunged. No, crashed into the room, colliding with waitstaff, shattering placid conversation. Forks clinked. A glass went flying. Heads turned. He grabbed Luna, trembling hands, desperation and sorrow and anger twisted into one. Guests gasped. The hush ripped. An etiquette-bound whisper rose to alarm. Deacon, seeing the threat to his dream night and the event's fragile facade, sprang into action. Like a matador in an instant, he intercepted Will. He gripped his arm, not with hostility, but with authority. His heart hammered as much from paternal fear as from professional panic. He pulled Luna away, protective, hands firm but not rough. He leaned in, voice low but insistent, "Bring her outside. Now." Luna, shaken, wild-eyed, let herself be led. But as they disappeared toward the door, the potential damage, if a shove had happened inside on the marble floor, or worse, if someone had pulled out a phone, the flash, the sensational snippet of scandal, the clip, would go viral in minutes. Would become gossip fodder, fashion world fodder, headline fodder. Deacon's restaurant would be in jeopardy. High class would be replaced by scene of confrontation. The event, so carefully curated, would be tainted. Worse, the Forrester Spencer axes, sharp, reputationally loaded, would sharpen, point, and pierce right through Deacon's operations. He'd be dragged into the Spencer-Forrester feud. Was Will's breakdown caused by abuse, by neglect? Was Luna a dangerous wreck? Whose fault was it? Tabloids would drag the diner's name through scandal. Catering contracts could be pulled. Sponsors could flee. Deacon could lose his venue's cushion bookings, lose relationships, lose status. He followed Luna and Will into a side vestibule, backlit by the glow of street lamps. "Calm, son," he said. "You're not alone. But you can't do this." Will's shoulders shook. Luna's mascara and maybe tears streaked. "We're sorry," Luna whispered. "Just, not here." Deacon turned toward the entrance, scanning the ballroom, holding composure on behalf of everyone. Then he had to act fast. He stepped back inside. The guests paused, forks lowered, champagne glasses mid-tilt. Conversation had stalled. Deacon cleared his throat, voice steady and warm. "Ladies and gentlemen, please accept my apologies for the brief interruption. Everything is fine." A few nods. People murmured. He smiled, ego calm. "Tonight, we gather for community, creativity, companionable delight. Let's toast to that." Champagne. The moment, tense, electric, dissolved into polite applause. Eyes twinkled again. Servers resumed their rounds. The flow resumed. But in Deacon's mind, the crisis had just begun. He needed to control the narrative. The press. The Forrester Spencer watchers. The blogs. The Instagram influencers. He needed to reach out, call Spencer PR, call Forrester social media, placate Luna's camp, assure the restaurant's own patrons that the night belonged to elegance, not drama. By the time the event ended, Deacon was already drafting messages, making calls to Quinn, to Eric, to Brooke, to design editors. He demanded confidentiality. He soothed, flattered, reassured. He offered private showings, future dinners, downtime chats. He offered his version, a private emotional moment at a public event. Nothing more. He emphasized Luna and Will had recovered, left quietly. No injuries. No scandal. The room was still glamorously intact. Guests left with smiles. But the next day, as dawn broke over Hampton's rooftops and coffee-tinged sunlight spilled through kitchen windows, Deacon's phone pinged. A message, site XYZ, Spencer's son's outburst at Deacon's gala video leaked. And a link. Panic drained into ice. The clip, while shoving a guest or waiter, maybe it was captured. It had gone up under 10 seconds. Confrontation, a vase tipping, tension, Deacon stepping in. No faces labeled, but enough context. The world would now define Deacon by the leak. He was no longer the host of a sophisticated night. He was the man whose restaurant was the backdrop for an emotional meltdown. Sponsors would fluff statements. We regret any negative attention. Forrester stylists would whisper. Spencer lawyers would ask for damage control. Deacon's inbox filled with angry demands for answers and PR firms wanting quotes. Just like that, the fragility of prestige, the blink-and-it's-gone nature of reputation, had been proven. He needed a plan. He needed a narrative salvage. He needed to show that the clip didn't define the night, but only an incident that he, with composure and paternal wisdom, contained. A lesson in restraint over emotion. A night saved from ruin by the man behind the scenes. He crafted a statement. Deacon Sharp Property hosted a beautiful evening in service of art and elegance. An emotional moment occurred, handled swiftly. No one was harmed. I'm proud of how we responded. The show must go on with grace. He posted it, sent it, published it. He prepared for fallout. A threatened lawsuit from a waiter, a subpoena from tabloids, an angry Forrester calling for damage control in the fashion pages, a Spencer office demanding an apology for Will. But he also sowed seeds. I'll donate proceeds from tonight's ticket price to emotional health charity. I'll hold a second dinner next month, closed event, purely for quieter connections. He courted designers, reinforcing the restaurant's role as glamour without chaos. All the while, he kept Luna and Will quiet, private counsel, private dinners, no social media. He calmed their emotional volatility, but also kept them close. He shielded them, because without control of that dynamic, the next clip could be worse. Inside his head, the narrative of the night replays, the plate shattered, the shouting, the gasp of the crowd, his split-second decision to step in. That is what defines him, not the leak, but his reaction. That's the core story. A crisis avoided, but only just. And so, Deacon sits at his desk under the amber glow of closing time lights, drafting delicately worded replies, scheduling calls with PR teams, with blogger editors, with Forrester stylists. He orders extra staff training on handling VIP breakdowns. He schedules a meeting with the city's press liaison. He drafts a press release. He frames the event, once a potential black mark, as a testament to his ability to mend chaos with poise. Because in the world of power and pretense, where Spencer's and Forrester's dominate headlines, a single misstep can close doors, shutter rooms, sink reputations. And he, Deacon Sharp, will not let that happen. Not while he can extinguish the blaze. The drama lingers. Will need therapy. Luna may drift away. Forrester and Spencer watchers will return. But Deacon's restaurant will stand. The event will be whispered about as that night, but he will be remembered if he plays his cards as the man who ran toward the burning candle, doused its flames with steady hands, and kept elegance alive under the chandeliers. He ends his statement with, "Chaos may strike, but grace will endure." And in that, he stakes his defense of tonight, of his establishment, of his name. And we leave him there, in the hush after the storm, Lights dimmed, but his resolve burning, ready to rebuild, restore, reclaim the night from becoming a scandal. Finn Finnegan discovered Luna alive. The revelation hit him like a physical blow, but in that moment, when he could have turned her over to the law, when he could have turned away, he didn't. Instead, with Steffy away, propelled not by duty but by a fragile blend of hope and guilt, he took Luna home. He fed her, housed her, shielded her. He spoke softly, winding together threads of remorse and yearning, determined to fill the void of the years she had grown up without a father. He believed, despite everything, that Luna could change. He convinced himself that love and mercy might heal a fractured soul. Steffy was gone out of town on business, on temporary leave, maybe needing air, needing space. That absence became the gap Finn slipped into. The house, Finn and Steffy's home, became a sanctuary for Luna, her footsteps echoing in hallways that should have been familiar but were foreign, now filled with second chances. Finn waited for transformation. He waited for remorse. He waited for Luna to become someone who could love Finn, Steffy, Hayes. He wanted to repair, to redeem. But that mercy was the spark of the disaster. Luna did not change. Beneath the veneer of gratitude, resentment festered, warped and dark. She met Finn's kindness with jagged clicks of cold calculation. She planned. She decided to exterminate the source of her abandonment. Bill, the father figure she deemed a self-serving betrayer, became target number one. Sheila, her grandmother, complicated, dangerous, but still family, became target number two. Luna wanted revenge. Cold. Final. Then the act happened. Bill, Sheila, both struck down in icy precision. Luna's violence exploded in a pulse of betrayal that dripped through the house Finn had sanctified. Bill's face, twisted in confusion and shock. Sheila's scream, truncated. Luna's hands steady. A scene Finn had never imagined standing across from. The dream of redemption collapsed into a nightmare. Blood in familiar rooms. Echoes of gunshots replacing the sound of forgiveness. Finn rushed in. Horror blooming in his chest. Bill lay motionless. Sheila crumpled. Luna, face hard, unflinching, watched them. Finn reached for her, shouted her name, but she didn't flinch. The connection was gone. Luna turned away from him. He realized she never wanted to heal. She wanted retribution, and the warmth he offered was just a stepping stone toward her wrath. He ran to Steffy when she returned. The house was sealed off by silence and invisible crime scene tape. Finn tried to speak, but the tragedy broke his words. She killed them, he whispered. Steffy's eyes flew open. Anger, grief, disbelief. The world spun off its axis. She looked at him. How could you trust her? She asked, but the words shattered on sobs. Finn had stood, waited, loved, and in return, he'd been stabbed in the back by her daughter. Luna disappeared. No trace. Finn searched rooms, waiting for the echo of her footsteps. The sanctuary was danger now. He called police, hospital, tried to save life that he had nurtured. The bodies lay cold. Bill, dead or dying. Sheila, dead or dying. Finn turned away, unable to see the horror of what his mercy created. He cradled his face in his hands. The house smelled of gunpowder and betrayal. He thought of the years she'd lost, the fatherless nights, the loneliness. He thought of his heart opening. He thought of Steffy and Hayes, and how easily both could be torn from him. He thought of his own naivete. He realized that kindness is not always met with gratitude. Sometimes violence is born from compassion misplaced. In the aftermath, Finn was shattered. The knowledge that he'd fought for a monster. That in trying to nurture, he unleashed chaos. Luna became the ghost in his home. The thread in his past. Steffy became the stone on his chest, steadying him, judging him, loving him locked in grief. Luna's act was both end and beginning. The lives she destroyed remain forever changed. Finn's path forward is littered with guilt and regret. He has no return to innocence. Only the cold truth that sometimes mercy is the catalyst of destruction, and that a daughter unleashed by love in absence can become your greatest undoing.